Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to remove and replace the starter on a 2000 to 2004 Ford Focus. And I gotta tell you, this is a pretty tough replacement, but hopefully with what I show you it's going to make it a little easier. So anyway, here's the guy, here's the bad one that I took out of the car, and I have a wiring harness off a donor vehicle to show you how it works. Just knowing what to look for sometimes is half the battle. You have the two leads here. You have a 13 millimeter and a 10 millimeter terminal for the wiring. And if you want to test this thing, it's pretty easy to do. Just set it down here. The battery lead and those two terminals like that. Turn this guy on, ground the shield out. See, this one's bad. So let me show you where it is in the car. That's the problem. Hard to get to. It's right down, sort of buried underneath the intake manifold. It's virtually impossible to see from the top and almost impossible to see from the bottom. But I'll show you what you need to take off to get to it. So the starter is actually sitting in there, sort of right there, like oriented this way, right down below the intake manifold. You can see how the wires kind of route up here straight to the battery. And this is very difficult to get loose. So the procedure is, you have two bolts here that are removed from the top, and they thread in this way, and you have one bolt that threads in this way from the bottom. So you get these two off at the top, and then get this one off at the bottom. And then the trick is you got to get these loose, which you cannot see. So you can maybe, some people I saw talk about reaching up there and blindly removing them. I didn't have much luck doing that. So, but once I got it loose, and what I learned is, because I sort of took it off and then wriggled it around, it's much better if you just take it, before you take it loose from the engine, if you pull it and then let it drop down like that, then you can see these back terminals. So let it drop down, then you can remove the terminals. Once that's loose, it's not easy to get out, but at least you have some maneuvering room. So the trick is, take the bolts loose and let the back end drop down towards you. I'll show you this from underneath. Drop down towards you before you try and take these terminals loose. Okay, so to access, really don't have to remove too much. I see a lot of people talk about removing brake reservoir and all that kind of stuff. All I took out, took the battery out, take the breather box out. This has to go. And here's your positive terminal for your battery, which basically runs straight down to the starter right here. And this is attached to the frame or whatever down in this area, and that you're going to have to pop loose, because you're going to need slack when the starter drops down below. You're going to need slack to be able to get those back terminals loose and get it out of there. So it's pretty much all you have to do on the top. Battery, air box, pop this loose. Not too bad. Okay, so now I'm going to try and show you where these bolts are, these top bolts are, and I'm telling you, these are hard to get to. So if you look over here on the side, I try and lit this up. I'll try and point them out to you, but it's going to be hard to see on this. But get this guy out of the way. One bolt right there. That's sort of the rear facing bolt, the rear side. And you got the other bolt. It's right here. You can, if you use a universal joint type socket like this, you can get them in there. Okay, so underneath the car, this is going to be really difficult to show you this, but so you need to remove two things. You need to remove this plate that sort of runs between the bottom of the engine and the intake manifold. That's got to go. I can show you what that looks like there. This guy. And then the other thing you gotta get is this mount right here. It's got 3 bolts. It supports the passenger side axle. You don't have to remove it. You can see the front here if you can't see. This has got to come off. And you don't have to get this out, but you do have to push this over. So you kind of shove it back off to the side over there. Then that will reveal enough room to get to the starter right there. So if you look at, now you can see it, you can point to it. Get my hand up in there. This is your bottom bolt. You take that guy out. And then at that point, if you have the 2 bolts up above, out, then the starter will come down. It'll start dropping down out of there, out the back. And then if you just sort of pull it down, straight down, then it should reveal those terminals that are on the back. And then you can take it out. It'll come out right here where I have the camera, sort of right here between the axle and the exhaust. Then, of course, putting it back in is not easy, but you reverse the process. So get it back up in there. Get those terminals on. I put the bolt in the bottom in first, and then came back up on the top. Get those in, and then you put it all back together. Hopefully, this will help you. Took me about 5 hours to get it out. The first time, I think I could do it quicker now, but without knowing how I was going to get it out, it took a long time. So anyway, guys, good luck.